we're in a very fortunate position, I guess, that this business has been going since the back end of the 60s. And so we have 30,000 plus costumes in this building. So I think we're probably one of the first businesses, anyway, that you could have actually classed as sustainable from the get-go, because our collection here is a collection of lots of original items, going as far back as Victorian times, because we are lucky enough we do get donated a lot of things. But where productions are concerned and providing costumes for people, I don't like making things from scratch, and if I can actually find something that I can adapt for the purposes of a particular play, I find that much more fulfilling than actually having to sort of cut everything from new. And we have plenty here to choose from. We are also fortunate enough, we do get gifted items sometimes from mainstream theatres, of which this is one, and this came from Cameron McIntosh's store from Les Mis, and he offered out a lot of his costumes because he had a cast change, and so that these became available. And they were advertised in the Stage magazine, and we picked up on it, and a few of us were very fortunate to benefit from these. So these will go on. They will sadly may get chopped up, and we might use the fabric in a different way, or they will get used for Amdram productions by us, and somebody has the good fortune to wear something that's been on Broadway, which is really lovely. And this little number here, this is one we did recently for King's School Bruton. They were doing the Teen 6, a production of Teen 6 that we needed to produce costumes for. And this, I don't know if anybody would recognise the style of this dress, what it was originally. This was an 80s dress, which of course lends itself very well to being adapted for a Tudor style dress. And actually Crystal helped with this one. She's one of our students that comes to help, costumes students that comes to help out here. And so this was one that she had a hand in creating. It was very good. Did you enjoy the process?
I really enjoyed it. It was really challenging because obviously taking something and turning it into something else is quite a process. It was a learning process as well, and like talking about different ideas with Sylvia and how to go about making it, and yeah.
But again, I mean, it was an 80s dress. We changed it up a bit as well, because it's the puff. We brought the puffball design back to it, so that it works and looks like a Tudor dress with a Tudor doublet and hose style. And so it was the whole production for these girls. I mean, they really enjoyed the costumes. They had great fun wearing them, and that's important for us as well, actually, for the youngsters, because they also realised these costumes had been made purposely for them, but out of something else. And that's I think that's the thing these days, is that sadly there is this fast fashion thing going on, and actually if you go back in history and look at people's wardrobes, they had very little clothes, and clothes were worn again and again. They didn't worry about social media and, oh, you're wearing the same dress again. that's the way it was. People couldn't, even wealthy people, because they would expend a lot of money maybe in having something embroidered and specially handmade. That they got good value out of it. Georgian dresses, the big wide Georgian dresses, actually there are still some of those seen, because of the cost of the embroidery. They ended up being used as altar cloths, and they've appeared in cathedrals around the world because of the beautiful fabric. And it was all about the display, because if you had wealth you could afford to pay somebody to do all that embroidery. And so it actually wasn't wasted, it wasn't dumped like we do these days. And if people were more careful in their choices of clothing, I think even if you go back to the sort of the 50s, and people picked very classical items in their wardrobe and then teamed them up with other things. And if we did a bit more of that now, rather than just buying things and then consigning them to the scrap heap, we could turn them into other, chop them up and turn them into other things. There are plenty of options available, especially for youngsters. If you want to create some new fashion, well, chop something of your own up and do a cut and shut, create something new rather than just throwing it out. Please, there is too much rubbish clothes out there.
Gosh, I used to get all my clothes like online, or like go out shopping. I used to be really bad for it, and like be out every week in town, window shopping at least. But these days I feel like I've really like slowed down my consumption, because I feel like I'm becoming a lot more wary about fast fashion, especially with people just buying stuff off like Shein and Wish or whatnot on eBay. Like, I tend to just go Primark, to be honest. I know it's not the most sustainable, but I just try buy things that I know I really like and I know I'm going to wear again. And yeah, things that are a bit more, iconic and classical looking, because it will just, you can rewear it. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's it. You could, a little bit of tweaking, and you could restyle it, and wear it again. Sometimes it's worth maybe paying a little bit more for something that you really like, rather than that, oh, that'll do.
Yeah, it's like when you go into the shops and you see sales, it's like, am I buying it because I actually like it, or because it's cheap and I just want to buy it? So I've tried to stop doing a lot of that as well.
And this is another one that we've just done I'm in the throes of finishing off actually for a production. So this was it was a normal red tailcoat, and somebody needed something that looked a little bit more like a continental aristocrat. And so this is for the play, so we've literally turned in the revers of the tailcoat and just given it a different trim that can be just unpicked and taken off, and it becomes a tailcoat again. And if it needed to be on a different size jacket, the trimming can be taken off and put on something else. So both bits are reusable, rather than cutting and making a jacket from scratch. So it's actually, I find it much more fun to do this. It's you get an interesting transformation at the end of it. Yeah, we do. I mean, we do have a lovely vintage section, so there are some beautiful dresses and things like that there for parties. Also, I think people are enjoying a lot of fancy dress parties more so these days, because it's something different. And it's funny actually that men actually seem to enjoy it so much more once they're dressed up and they realise, oh, actually this is quite fun thing to do, because men's fashion is quite boring, really. And yes, and very often we get them in a nice flamboyant Georgian outfit or Regency, you know, and they really do enjoy the process and of actually wearing something that is completely off the wall to what they would be used to. So it's so yes, plenty of party opportunities here, all sorts of different themes, right from from cave girls, medieval, Georgian, Regency, you name it. We can put things together here, and it's fun. It's fun to do, and it's not the quality of fancy dress costumes on eBay are not actually the best. And it's really nice to, if you come into us, you get something put together that's been properly constructed, and it will get used again. So it's, I think, a good value all round. We do have a section where when we're having a clear out, there will be a variety of different things that may go to a school for them to repurpose for craft projects and different things, and then our sales, sometimes we'll get amateur dramatic groups will come in and buy up a few costumes, which helps them out, so they're not making things from scratch, because that's quite often, because Amdram is done on a budget, they invariably buy cheap fabric and knock up cheap costumes. So actually by taking some of ours on, that kind of stops that process as well. So that's useful. But yes, we've gifted quite a number of different things to various schools. Boxes of hats, great fun for kids. all those different hats. So yes, we do quite a lot actually with that, from a recycling point of view. Throwing things out is very difficult. It has to be completely shredded, and even sometimes the shreds get used in brooches and different things in this place. So it is sometimes very difficult to part with things. We have to we turn it over 3 times and, well, okay, no, it's definitely time somebody else has some pleasure out of it, because it's lost its usefulness for us.
So I'm studying theatre festival and events production at Bath University. I do costume and stage management, and coming to Bath Theatrical and working part-time has been really such a valuable experience for me. Excuse me, because I got to learn from so many different people, like Sylvia, who has so much experience and knowledge within costume, because there's so much about costume that I don't know, and I'm still learning. But coming here and meeting the people who come in looking for different costumes, they're saying, I want 70s, I want Regency, I want this and I want that. And I'm slowly learning to build my knowledge on different eras of costume, as well as learning to work with people and trying to figure out what it is that they want and what their vision is. So I'm hoping that will help me in the future working with directors and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's you've got to get inside people's heads if they don't give you a good brief.
Yeah. Some people are great though, because they're really receptive about whatever you throw at them. They're like, yes, I actually love that, or they'll be like, no,
it wasn't quite what I had in mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.